making headlines. The Environment Minister announces that the Enderi project launched to assess the wealth of natural resources in the Maldives will be rolled out across the country. The World Bank reveals that the wealthiest in the Maldives benefit disproportionately from the country's universal subsidy system. And the Commissioner General of Taxation notes positive progress in the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority's efforts to recover outstanding debts.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSMNEWS in English. I'm Abdul Mahmoud, your host for the evening. Looking into the details, Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, Tariq Ibrahim, announces that the Enderi project launched to assess the wealth of natural resources in the Maldives will be rolled out across the country. He made the remarks during the handover ceremony for the Enderi Small Grants 2024 in Fonadu Lam Atoll. The event marked the allocation of $97,724 to 3 local associations. Additionally, $390,896 was donated to the Island Council for the effective management of protected areas within the atoll. Emphasizing the significance of evaluating natural resources, Minister Tariq noted that while many foreign nations recognize the value of such resources, critical assets in the country like reefs and marine ecosystems remain largely unassessed. He highlighted that the Enderi project aims to create natural capital accounts for the atoll and will be implemented nationwide. As part of the Enderi project, the University of New South Wales, UNSW, was contracted to conduct assessments of the country's natural resources. A team from UNSW is scheduled to visit Maldives in November to share the findings of the studies and provide training to relevant institutions. The World Bank's recent report, Maldives Development Update Seeking Stability in Turbulent Times, reveals that the wealthiest in the Maldives benefit disproportionately from the country's universal subsidy system. The report discusses the effects of government spending cuts and subsidy adjustments, noting that while subsidies in many countries are typically directed toward low-income households, the Maldives' current approach fails to adequately support its most vulnerable populations.
According to the World Bank, government revenues are allocated to various subsidies aimed at providing essential services including education, the Asanda program for all citizens, and fuel and food subsidies through State Trading Organization (STO). However, these subsidies are not specifically designed to target those in greatest need. The report highlights that about 43% of subsidies go to the wealthiest segments of the society, benefiting the richest 40%. This represents 4.1% of the national budget. Notably, the top 10% of earners receive 13% of these subsidies, which accounts for only 2% of their income, while the bottom 10% receive a mere 8%. The World Bank emphasizes the government's intention to shift from a blanket subsidy approach to one that specifically aids the most vulnerable groups. Without such a reform, the poverty rate in the Maldives could rise from 2.5% to 4.6% if subsidies were eliminated altogether, with single parents and families with more than 3 children being particularly impacted. To mitigate these effects of subsidy cuts, the World Bank estimates that a budget of $78.2 million will be required. It recommends that subsidies be allocated to 60% of low-income households, suggesting an increase in support for the lowest income earners to 20%. Furthermore, the report stresses the need for the government to implement a comprehensive system to accurately assess household income and monitor living conditions effectively.
Commissioner General of Taxation Hassan Zarir has said positive progress in the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority mirrors efforts to recover outstanding debts.
Speaking to PSMNEWS, Zarir highlighted that MIRA is currently engaging with individuals and entities that owe significant amounts of money. As a result of these efforts, he said that the authority has started seeing tangible outcomes with revenue collections exceeding initial projections. He also noted that revenue collected in July was 15% higher than expected, while August saw a 33% increase and September recorded a 31% increase. Additionally, Zarir noted that the culture of regular tax payment has improved partly due to tax exemptions. He said that Mira has held meetings with 80 individuals to remind them of their tax obligations, with 80% cooperating. He, however, said that 20% of the individuals have not complied and the authority plans to take appropriate actions against those who fail to pay. Mira has noted a total of approximately $1 billion in tax and non-tax revenue, including fines. The figure consists of $454 million in tax revenue and an equal amount in non-tax revenue. To promote accountability, the authority has begun publishing the names of those who fail to file tax returns or pay their taxes.
We'll return after a short prayer. Stay tuned.
ಗೆದೊರೆರಿ ಕಮ ಹುರಿಹಾ ಕಮೆ ಯಾಗೀನ್ ಕಮಕಿ ಗಾಯಮ ವೆಗೆನ್ ದಾಣೆ ಗವಮೆಕ್ಕಂ ಗಬೂಲ್ ಕುರುಮ ಅವಳ್ಮೆನ್ ಎಮ್ಮೆನ್ನಕಿ ದಿವಸಕ ವೀತಿ ಫಹುರೆರಿ ವಾ ಬೈಕ್ಕಮುಗ ಅವಳ್ಮೆನ್ ಗಬೂಲ್ ಕುರನ್ ಜೆಹೇವರು ಬೈಕ್ಕಂ ಗಬೂಲ್ ಕುರುಂ ಎಯ್ ಅವಳ್ಮೆನ್ ಗಜುಮಕ್ಕಂ ಯದುವಾಂಬಿ ದಿವೆಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಿನಿವಂ ಕಮುಗೆ ರೆಡ್ರೊಂಗು ಅವಳು ದಮಾಣಿ ವರ ಫಲಕೊಶೆ ಎ ರೆಡ್ರೊಂಗುಗೆ ಎತೆರೆಯಕ ಹಮ ಎವ್ವೆಸ್ ಬಯಕ ವಣುಮುಗೆ ಹಗ್ಗೆ ನೋಣ್ಣಾಣೆ ಎಕಂಕುರ್ಮುಗೆ ಫುರ್ಸತೆ ಹಮ ಹಿಲಾ ಇರಾದು ಕವಿಯ ನುದೇಣಮೆ ಎತೆರೇಗ ತಿವಿ ಬಯಕವಿಯ ಇರಾದು ಕವಿಯ ಬೇರು ಕುರಾಣಮೆ ಅಮಲ ಬಹ ಇರಾದು ಕವಿಯ ಅವನುಗೆ ಅಬದುಸ್ತಿ ಮಾವಾಣ
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
ඒරෙග්ග දුනියග නජර් ಹುಟ್ಟಿಫಾವಾ ಪೊಡೆತಿ ಮಸಲ್ತ
ಸೇರೋ ವೋತಹಂ ಕೊಂತ್ರ
ಎ ಮಸಲ್ತಹುಗೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಫಹುಗ ತಫ್ಸೀರ್ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಫುಣ ತಿರಾಸ ಕುರುವ ಫಹುಗ
ದುನಿಯೆಗೆ ಖಳಿ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ದುವಹಕು ಸೋಳಗಡಿ ತಿರಿಹುಗ PSMNEWS
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ತಿಯ ಬೇಫ್ಲುನ್ನ ಹಿಲೆ ಬಲಾಲೆವೇನೆ ಅದಿ ಅಡುವ ಹಾಲೆವೇನೆ ದುನಿಯೆಗೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ತಾಗುಹುರೆಗೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಗಡಿಯ PSM ಗೆ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಬಲಾಲುಮ ಅವಹ PSM Air app ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕುರವ್ವ ಮಿಹಾರು ಆಪ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಉನ್ನ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇಂದ ಮಿ ಆಪ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲವೇನೆ
Welcome back to PSMNEWS in English. The government has announced plans to launch a comprehensive national master plan aiming to reduce the number of thalassemia cases reported.
Efforts to combat thalassemia in the Maldives began in 1994 with the establishment of the National Thalassemia Center. However, the lack of significant infrastructural development or enhancement of services at the center over the past 30 years has raised concerns among thalassemia patients and their respective families. Despite the Thalassemia Control Bill being ratified in 2012, it has not been strongly implemented. The Thalassemia Prevention Law emphasizes the need for increased public awareness to curb the spread of thalassemia, the establishment of a sustainable treatment center for patients, which is monitored by a legally empowered Director General. Additionally, a special fund must be established to support and enhance thalassemia prevention efforts. Furthermore, the law also mandates the provision of family planning and counseling for thalassemia carriers with the goal of reducing the annual birth rate of children born with the condition. Since 2015, thalassemia patients have been given the opportunity to undergo bone marrow transplants with assistance from the Zakat Fund, an initiative which the government intends to continue annually. According to a study conducted in 2014, public awareness on thalassemia is relatively low. Aiming to address this issue and reduce the birth rate of thalassemia children, the government has been exerting efforts to draft a master plan against thalassemia. Additionally, the government has allocated 17,000 square feet of land for the construction of a thalassemia hospital in Hurmale, Phase 2. The Ministry of Health has disclosed that the hospital will feature 38 inpatient beds, 62 outpatient beds and 20 private rooms. Furthermore, the facility will be equipped with intensive care units, ICUs and private theatres along with a dedicated department for bone marrow treatment.
The Elections Commission of the Maldives, ECM, has announced its intention to consolidate all electoral laws in the Maldives. Currently, several separate laws govern elections, including the General Elections Act, the Presidential Elections Act, the Parliamentary Elections Act, and the Local Council Elections Act.
During an appearance on a program of PSMNEWS, President of the Elections Commission of the Maldives, ECM, Fuad Tawfiq, explained that the Commission is reviewing all election-related laws with the aim of merging them. He mentioned that discussions are ongoing with Commission members and the legal team to facilitate this process. Fuad acknowledged that the fragmentation of these laws has resulted in public confusion. He emphasized that consolidating the laws would enhance the Commission's efficiency by creating a clear, unified framework. He noted that 3 out of 5 years are dedicated to election activities, with the remaining 2 years focused on legislative updates and staff training. Additionally, Fuad expressed his commitment to amending existing laws as needed and developing new legislation in preparation for the 2026 elections. The Commission is already proposing changes, including a measure that would allow political parties with fewer than 10,000 members to receive funding from the state budget.
A total of 183 students participated in the Bar Council examination held by the Bar Council of Maldives. This compulsory examination mandated by the Legal Profession Act is a crucial step for aspiring lawyers.
The examination took place at Villa College on Saturday, where 190 students were registered. However, only 183 students sat for the exam. With this year's participation, the cumulative number of students who have sat for the examination since its inception has reached 505. To qualify as a lawyer under the Legal Profession Act of Maldives, candidates must meet 3 basic requirements: passing the bar examination, obtaining a first degree in law recognized by the Bar Council, and completing the required licensing training for practical experience in the legal field. The bar examination is designed to ensure that new lawyers possess the essential legal knowledge and skills necessary to provide effective legal services. This year's examination included questions covering 6 main areas of law. The curriculum for the bar examination is developed by the committee of experts comprising experienced lawyers, legal educators, and judges. For the first time this year's examinees received recorded lectures and newly introduced sections of the curriculum. The organization of this year's bar examination was supported by the government, USAID, and the American Bar Association.
Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA, has revealed that the amount collected as Zakat al-Mal in September has increased by 4-fold compared to September 2023.
The monthly report of September publicized by MIRA indicated that the authority collected a total of $564,202 as Zakat al-Mal. This is a remarkable 204% increase compared to the amount collected within the same period last year, which stands at $181,582. With these amounts, MIRA reported that the government has collected a total of $5.3 million as Zakat al-Mal so far this year. This is a notable 17.1% increase compared to the $4.5 million collected last year. Zakat al-Mal is part of the wealth and property that Muslims must pay annually to help the poor of their community. Zakat is levied on specific assets only identified by Islamic law as assets having the potential for growth. Any person who meets the minimum amount of wealth, nisab, must pay their share of Zakat al-Mal. The current nisab for Zakat al-Mal is $607 as set by the Ministry of Islamic Affairs. The value of gold and silver is considered in determining the nisab for zakat. Therefore, the nisab changes due to alterations in the price of gold and silver in the world market. The latest modification to the nisab was brought by the ministry in May. MIRA has been collecting Zakat al-Mal since 2016, while the Ministry of Islamic Affairs continues to collect Zakat al-Fitr.
Ministry of Construction and Infrastructure has revealed plans to complete the installation of the temporary drainage systems in the roads of Male City by the end of this month.
The government decided to install temporary drainage systems in 6 locations in Male City, aiming to address the issue of flooding. Temporary drainage systems have already been utilized in 3 areas that are particularly vulnerable to flooding during the rainy season. The systems were installed near Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital IGMH, West Park, and the Willingili Ferry Terminal. Although these areas had flooded in the past, the temporary drainage systems showed a positive impact. Speaking to PSMNEWS, Minister of State for Construction and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Nazim, unveiled plans to install the drainage system near Rasfanno, depending on the weather conditions. He further indicated that following this installation, a system will be installed near the TV building in Amini Mago. The State Minister disclosed that after the drainage systems are installed in these locations, efforts will be exerted to install the system near Artificial Beach. He revealed the government's overarching goal of completing the installation of the systems before this month ends. Acknowledging that flooding issues in Amini Magu persist despite recent road developments, State Minister Nazim emphasized the ongoing efforts to resolve these challenges. As part of these efforts, all pumps in the existing drainage systems have been upgraded from a single 9 kilowatt pumps to 2 20 kilowatt pumps. He also revealed plans to upgrade 14 pumps within the drainage system. Male City's roads were constructed many years ago and are prone to flooding during the rainy season, causing water damage to some households. While drainage systems have been installed to address the issue, a permanent solution to the flooding issues in Male will be provided through the Chinese government's grant.
Boeing will cut 17,000 jobs, delay first deliveries of its 777X jet by a year, and record $5 billion in losses in the third quarter as the U.S. plane maker continues to spiral during a month-long strike.
CEO Kelly Ortberg said in a message to employees that Boeing must shrink its workforce to align with their financial reality after an ongoing strike by 33,000 U.S. West Coast workers stopped production of its 737 MAX, 767 and 777 jets. Boeing shares fell 2.12% in aftermarket trading. The sweeping changes are a big move by Ortberg, who arrived in August at the helm of the beleaguered plane maker, promising to reset relations with the union and its employees. Boeing recorded pre-tax earnings charges totaling $5 billion for its defense business and 2 commercial plane programs. Boeing, which reports third quarter earnings on October 23rd, said in a separate release it now expects revenue of $17.8 billion, a loss per share of $9.97, and a better than expected negative operating cash flow of $1.3 billion. Reaching a deal to end the work stoppage is critical for Boeing, which filed an unfair labor practice charge on October 9th, accusing the machinists' union of failing to bargain in good faith. Ratings agency S&P estimated the strike is costing Boeing $1 billion a month, and the company risks losing its priced investment grade credit rating. Ortberg also said Boeing has notified customers that it now expects that first delivery of its 777X in 2026 due to challenges in development, the first test pause, and the work stoppage. Boeing had already faced issues with certification of the 777X that had significantly delayed the plane's launch.
Japanese organization Nihon Hindakyo, a grassroots movement of atomic bomb survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, won the Nobel Peace Prize in warning countries that have nuclear weapons not to use them.
Many survivors of the only 2 nuclear bombs ever to be used in conflict, who are known in Japanese as hibakusha, have dedicated their lives to the struggle for a nuclear-free world. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Friday issued a statement. He noted that they are an inspiration to the shared efforts to build a world free of nuclear weapons. UN High Representative for Disarmament Affairs Izumi Nakamitsu echoed Guterres at the press conference at the United Nations headquarters in New York.
This morning I would like to really not just warmly congratulate them, but also I would like to again repeat my sincere thanks, and then also on behalf of the United Nations, our sincere gratitude for their tireless work in support of nuclear disarmament. We do receive incredible amounts of inspiration and also courage and energy, I would say, from their movements and from those individual hibakusha. They are incredible people.
There were 106,825 atomic bomb survivors registered in Japan as of March this year, data from the country's health ministry showed, with an average age of 85.6 years. The Norwegian Nobel Committee awarded the prize to Nihon Hindakyo, representing survivors of the 1945 U.S. atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, for its decades-long efforts to abolish nuclear weapons. The organization's co-chair, Toshiyuki Mimaki, said he felt the award meant more responsibility, adding that most atomic bomb survivors were over 85 years old, meaning the challenge lied in what to do in the future. The Norwegian Nobel Committee said in its citation the group was receiving the Peace Prize for its efforts to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons and for demonstrating through witness testimony that nuclear weapons must never be used again.
Ryan Thomas belted a grand slam in the fifth inning to help the Cleveland Guardians advance to the American League Championship Series with a 7-3 victory over the Detroit Tigers on Saturday.
Thomas added on RBI infield single in the 7th, and Brian Rocchio drove in a run in the 8th for the Guardians, who captured Game 5 of the best-of-5 AL Division Series. Cleveland will visit the New York Yankees in Game 1 of the ALCS on Monday. The Yankees won 4 of the 6 meetings against the Guardians in the regular season. Jose Ramirez forged a 1-1 tie in the 5th after he was hit by a pitch in the left forearm with the bases loaded. Thomas stepped up and deposited a first-pitch sinker from Tigers ace Tarik Skubal over the wall in left center field for Cleveland's first Grand Slam in the postseason since Francisco Lindor accomplished the feat against the Yankees in the ALDS in 2017. Thomas's homer was his second of the series. He launched a 3-run shot in Cleveland's 7-0 victory over Detroit in Game 1 last Saturday. The homer in Game 5 was the first allowed by Skubal since September 12th. The ALCY young candidate gave up 5 runs on 6 hits with 1 walk and 6 strikeouts over 6 innings. Stephen Kwan collected 3 hits for the 3rd straight game and improved to 11 for 21 with 6 runs in the series. Kerry Carpenter had a pinch hit RBI single in the 5th to open the scoring for the Tigers. Carpenter was held out of the starting lineup due to a left hamstring injury sustained after he rounded 3rd and scored a run in the 6th inning of Game 4.
In Abuja, Nigeria, a project called Deaf in Tech is revolutionizing the tech industry for those with hearing impairments. Founded by Dr. Ayula Orovolo, a consultant specializing in diversity, equity and inclusivity (DEI), the project is part of a larger initiative by Nigerian tech company Data Lead Africa aimed at bridging the skill and employment gap for persons with disabilities.
The Deaf in Tech Lab, where the project is based, is an environment of learning and empowerment. Here, deaf instructors are reshaping the narrative for the deaf community by teaching coding in Python, a high-level programming language. Students are also enthusiastic about their journey in the tech world. They hope that the skills that they require will help them secure a better job in the future. However, the project is not just about technical skills. It is about fostering an atmosphere of inclusivity and diversity. Signs in the lab read inspiring diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace, emphasizing the project's commitment to bridging the economic gap for persons with disabilities. Dr. Arawolo sees the project as a response to the lack of opportunities for the deaf community, particularly women who face additional challenges due to the intersection of gender and disability.
We started the Deaf in Tech in 2022 as a response to bridging the economic gap with persons with disabilities, and our focus has been on the deaf community, which we have found to be conspicuously lacking behind in terms of the amount of job available for them due to their disability.
Students echo this sentiment. They see the program as a stepping stone to a brighter future. Since its inception in 2022, the Deaf in Tech project has trained nearly 1,000 deaf individuals, providing them with the skills and knowledge to thrive in the tech industry. Through these efforts, Data Lead Africa is not only empowering the deaf community, but also building a more inclusive and diverse tech industry in Nigeria. The United Nations UN survey reports on disability in 2018 also revealed that there are 2 billion people living with disabilities worldwide, with majority living in developing countries. Going by the UN reports, 25.5 million are Nigerians living with disabilities, out of which 9.5 million are deaf Nigerians who deserve decent living conditions.
That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.